Our next session, From Waste to Wings, how Synagro and Firefly are transforming biosolids to sustainable aviation fuel. Please welcome our moderator, Kristen Siemen, former Chief Sustainability Officer of GM, Kip Cleverley, Chief Sustainability Officer and Chief Communications Officer, Synagro Technologies, and Naomi Heming, Chief Commercial Officer, Firefly.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Happy to be here this afternoon moderating this great panel. So first to introduce, we have Naomi Heming, the Chief Commercial Officer of Firefly, and Kip Cleverley, Chief Sustainability Officer of Synagro Technologies. So just to frame up this session a little bit, wanted to read a description of what we're going to be talking about. As aviation accelerates toward net zero, demand for sustainable aviation fuel is surging, or SAF, but supply is constrained by feedstock and technology challenges. Firefly, in partnership with Synagro's Sustainability Solutions, unlocks a scalable path forward to convert biosolids into high-quality SAF using a pioneering two-stage HTL and hydrotreating process. This innovative approach not only delivers drop-in SAF, but also addresses PFAS contamination, transforming waste into climate-positive impact and reshaping the future of flight. So I might need to go back to engineering school a bit to learn more, but hopefully we'll walk away from this panel with some great information. So why don't we start maybe with a bit of introduction about you and what you do at your companies and the importance of this.
Sure, great to see everybody, and thank you for having us here at Nest Climate Camp as well. It's just amazing to be part of New York Climate Week. So Naomi Heming, I'm Chief Commercial Officer at Firefly. So I've got a 20-year background in engineering and technology innovation. So my background is taking technology all the way through from its really early technology maturity levels and going through those difficult hurdles through the valley of death and moving those through into production. I've worked in a number of complex industries, defense, space, and clean energy. And so the prospect of taking Firefly's novel technology into market is really exciting for me.
Very good. Kip Cleverley. So I've been in the sustainability field pretty much my entire career of 30 years. And Chief Sustainability Officer of Synagro Technologies, but I've led sustainability and innovation for International Flavors and Fragrances, DuPont's Nutrition and Biosciences, Benjamin Moore, a number of companies. So this is what I do.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, so as I understand it, Synagro and Firefly have formed a partnership in the US to solve two big sustainability challenges, both decarbonizing flying and managing biosolid waste for beneficial use, right? I mean, which is extremely interesting. Can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Yeah, sure. So in simple terms, what we're doing is we're taking two large and complex sustainability and decarbonization challenges, and we're solving that through one solution, through Firefly's novel sewage biosolids to waste, to SAF technology. So over here, we've got the global problem of decarbonisation in aviation. Many of you, like me, would have travelled here by plane to get here this week, whether that was over the States or internationally. And the world of flight is absolutely fundamental to how we live our lives now, whether that's on business, to experience culture, share ideas, or simply to connect with people. The world of flight is intrinsic to how we live our lives now. So we don't want that to go away. But global aviation is responsible today for 4% of global emissions. And with passenger volumes set to double between now and 2050, that's a real issue and a real pressure point for global aviation. So we need to find realizable, scalable, and affordable decarbonisation solutions. Now, SAF, Sustainable Aviation Fuel, is set to provide more than half of decarbonisation for aviation. And that sets a real challenge for the industry because today there is SAF in the market. At the moment, the only pathway that's in real meaningful production levels is HEFA. and that's coming under increased pressure as regulations tighten about crop use. So we need other SAF solutions to come to market, and there are a number of others in their infancy. A lot of the market talks about eSAF, that's going to come through, but what we do need is a real mix, and that's where our technology really comes into play. And then on the second side of the equation, you've got what seems like a completely unrelated problem, but nonetheless important, is the growing rise of PFAS in biosolids and water waste and how to deal with that. And that's where Firefly comes in and where our partnership with Synagro comes in, because Firefly not only takes a biosolid waste and uses that to create sustainable aviation fuel, but also through our unique process, we eliminate PFAS. So you can immediately see how a partnership between Firefly and Synagro being the largest biosolid waste manager in North America, is going to help us to bring that technology to market really quickly and eliminate a growing problem with PFAS.
Amazing. Okay, so now Kip, help
Yeah.
us understand, what are biosolids?
Well, maybe I'll start with the beginning of the process, right?
That works too.
Yep. Waste, from all of us goes through the wastewater treatment system. It goes to a municipal wastewater treatment plant, and there it's mechanically and chemically separated. So the clean water, goes back to oceans and lakes, and all of the solids are filtered out, and those solids are sent to companies like Synagro. Before the Clean Water Act, those solids were brought to the ocean and dumped, which causes ecological problems. And another solution is to bring them to landfills, which again, that's not a great solution because there's not enough landfill space, and it causes a lot of methane, which is a very potent greenhouse gas. So that's kind of where Synagro got its start. We developed technology to take those biosolids and to make them into a nutrient-rich fertilizer. We then work with farmers across the nation to then bring that organic fertilizer to their farms. It replaces chemical fertilizers. It sequesters carbon. It's great for the soil. Farmers love us, and it's less expensive.
Awesome. So that all sounds wonderful, but I'm sure there's challenges.
Yeah, well, as you know, in a wastewater treatment system, there's always the potential for unwanted substances to come through the wastewater treatment system. One of those substances are PFAS, and there's been a lot of conversations and seminars on PFAS. I saw a great movie earlier this week for Climate Week. But if you don't know, PFAS are chemicals that come from everyday items. So it's in your makeup, it's on clothing, it's in firefighting foam. And those chemicals make their way into the wastewater treatment system and potentially could end up in the biosolids. Synagro doesn't produce PFAS. We don't add it to our system. It's we're a passive receiver of it. We don't want it. We absolutely don't want it. And that said, we're in favor of the Clean Water Act. We are in favor of new and evolving science-based regulations. We also think about solutions for it, so pre-treatment programs. And if you really think about it, the way to prevent this is to go all the way back to the manufacturers of PFAS and stop it from coming into the system. But our business, our solution providers. So we provide technology solutions to our customers depending on what is the problem. So I also work on the sustainable innovation side. We've created a pyrolysis unit that makes biochar from biosolids, which destroys the PFAS and then also good for carbon sequestration. We have filtering units. And then as we're doing this, I meet James Highgate and Naomi from Firefly, and they tell us about this great technology to take from the UK, to take biosolids and actually make biosolids not a waste, but a raw material for sustainable aviation fuel. And we were kind of like,
Amazing.
wow, that is really cool.
And just solved all my problems.
And
yeah.
it destroys PFAS.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's kind of a
Sounds like the
match.
holy grail.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you want to talk a little bit more about the technology and
Yeah,
Firefly?
I'd love to. So Firefly was born out of a strong desire and passion to find a biofuel solution that could decarbonize aviation. So Firefly, whilst it's a startup, is actually founded on more than 25 years of research and development and global operation of biofuel solutions across the world. And the founders, having worked in that space for more than 25 years, we're just really focused and determined on finding a solution for aviation. And through that research and development, found this unique way through our two-stage approach, combining hydrothermal liquefaction, which is essentially like a pressure cooker, and then hydrotreatment process to refine, takes a biosolid waste and transitions that into a sustainable aviation fuel. And that's at the point that Firefly was created and spun out from Green Fuels, which is the R&D business that's been running for 25 years. So our solution is super exciting, and we've just got an amazing ecosystem of investors and strategic partners who are really excited about what we're doing, because first of all, it's clear to see how we've got a low-cost feedstock that is globally abundant. Wherever there's people, wherever there's sewage works, we can plug into that. So it means that lots of different governments and countries are getting really excited about that because they can see how they can bring that to their country and make that happen. The other really exciting thing that's got the OEMs excited is the fact that we essentially, through that process, create a chemically indistinguishable sustainable aviation fuel, which mimics jet fuel. Now, that's actually really quite unique because we harness the hydrocarbons and complex aromatics that you find in a jet fuel. So unlike some other SAFs where you have a maximum blending limit, where you've got to mix it in with existing jet fuel, that's not the situation for us. If you wanted to in the future, you could use it 100%, no dilution, no problem. And that's got the engine providers and the aircraft OEMs really excited because they can see the flexibility and the scalability of this technology. So we're really excited about what we're doing.
Absolutely amazing. So it sounds like it's really just been an incredible partnership. How did that come about? I mean, what are the advantages and the strengths maybe that each company brings to this partnership?
I literally reached out. I was reading about this technology in a sustainability magazine. I literally sent James, who's the CEO, an email and said, hey, I see your feedstock is biosolids. We're the largest biosolids handler in North
Amazing.
America. Also says that you'd like to come to the States. Let's talk.
That's great.
Literally, he was at a SAF conference in Texas. We met in Texas. We had dinner, and we started just this conversation, which was wow, you handle and are experts in biosolids. So for us, we have many different technologies to handle biosolids, and we customize those technologies for the municipal customer, depending on where they are, whether it's New York or Boston or Detroit. And what Firefly needs is a very consistent raw material of biosolids. So it has to be a certain percentage of solids. It has to have a certain flow to it. And he says, can you handle that? And I said, that's literally what we do. I mean, we are experts at this. And he says, are there enough biosolids? And I said, we handle like 16 million tons. There's plenty more. So I think we have enough raw material for you.
Excellent. Excellent.
And that's amazing, right? Because we've already spent a lot of time developing out our ecosystem in the UK. All the way across the value stream, we've got the water companies, which do things slightly different to how they do things here in the US. But we've got relationships with all of the water companies. They're super excited because they've got this same problem that around PFAS that they're needing to wrangle with. And we've got relationships across the technology stack. through Chevron Lummus Global, where we've got exclusive agreements with them. We've got the EPC wrap in place. And of course, really importantly, we've also got the airlines interested. And we've got a 15-year bankable offtake agreement with Wizz Air, who've been incredibly supportive as an investor and an end customer. So we're very much focused on developing out that same ecosystem in the US. And Synagro is a key cornerstone to our future ecosystem here in North America.
Excellent. So I know you have enough waste to supply here. What's the scale of opportunity from a SAF standpoint? You know, I mean, I think there's lots of talk of what a challenge this is in the industry. So what do you see as the opportunity?
You know, we were just talking about this when we were saying, we said 16 million tons equates to
200 million gallons.
200 million gallons.
So if
awesome.
Whilst the US is a voluntary market, it has still set out its own ambition. So the Department of Energy set out the grand challenge last year with an aim of getting 3 billion gallons of SAF. Now, as of this time last year, only 93 million gallons are being produced here in the US. That's less than 1% of what the US wants to do. So, as I said, scalable SAF solutions are really, really important, and that's why you need that mix. But with our relationship with Synagro, if you were to develop 200 million gallons, then at least that would be 6% of the market for 2030. So, you know, there is lots of room for lots of different SAF solutions, but we've got a really viable route here that we can scale upon.
And think of where we are in this process, right? So one of the things is, you know, Climate Week this week has been fantastic. It really, you know, warms your heart when you see all of these new technologies, all of this energy about doing good in the world. And, you know, I think the partnership between Firefly and Synagro is a perfect example of that. You know, two companies who really believe in sustainability. It's what we literally do. It's not like we have a company and there's a sustainability department. We literally both do sustainability. So it's a real, it's a great place to be partnering together with a very similar vision, you know, to mitigate climate change.
Yeah, it's super exciting. I think many airlines would have asked for the fuel yesterday, so I'm sure the faster you can go, the better. I know we want to get to a video, but before we do that quickly, can you give your vision? You talked about how great Climate Week is to find these collaborations and to share the amazing technologies, hopefully inspire others to do the same. What's your vision for the impact this is going to have and how it's going to scale and hopefully propagate more greatness?
You know, I think big, so taking a waste and turning it into a raw material, something that we don't want, and then it solving climate change and using, you know, that is so circular. It's exactly what we're all talking about. So, you know, my vision is that, you know, all the biosolids in the world could be turned into a sustainable aviation fuel and decarbonize, you know, all of the flights that all of us took to get here. Well, not me, I'm from New Jersey, so it was just.
Excellent, excellent. Awesome. All right, should we go to the video?
Great, okay.
Excellent. Well, again, I want to thank you both for being here. Super inspiring, a space that gets a lot of talk with not a lot of hope. And I think you've provided hope for all of us that this is coming sooner than maybe we thought. And together, I think Firefly and Synagro are proving that the future of aviation fuel isn't just sustainable. It's circular, scalable, and already underway. So from waste to wings, they're building a cleaner future, one biosolid at a time. Thank you.
Thanks, Kristen.